Musk and Trump, a combined force taking on the deep state, 10 key strategies revealed. Date, February 3, 2025. Introduction. In a surprising turn of political events, Elon Musk and Donald Trump have announced a collaboration aimed at reforming the federal government. This initiative, known as the Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE), is co-led by Musk and political figure Vivek Ramaswamy. Their partnership has sparked considerable debate regarding the implications of billionaire influence in governance and the practical effects of their proposed reforms. Overview of DOGE. The DOGE initiative seeks to address inefficiencies within the federal government with a particular focus on cutting wasteful spending, eliminating excessive regulations, and restructuring federal agencies. Trump has characterized this endeavor as potentially a Manhattan Project for government reform, highlighting its ambitious scope. Key strategies and goals. 1. Dismantling bureaucracy. One of the primary objectives of DOGE is to significantly reduce bureaucratic red tape within the federal government. This involves slashing regulations and streamlining operations across various agencies. 2. Public sentiment. Recent polling data indicates that public perception of Musk's role in government reform is mixed. An AP-NORC poll showed that only about 30% of Americans support Musk's involvement, while a notable percentage expressed skepticism about the qualifications of billionaires in governance. 3. Proposals for change. Among the controversial proposals put forth by Musk and Ramaswamy are the complete elimination of certain federal agencies and the relocation of government jobs outside of Washington, D.C. Ramaswamy has suggested laying off as much as 75% of the federal workforce, framing these cuts as essential to dismantling the so-called deep state. For economic implications, critics of the DOGE initiative have raised alarms about the potential for economic destabilization due to proposed budget cuts. Musk himself acknowledged that drastic reductions could lead to temporary hardship for many Americans. Experts warn that achieving a goal of cutting $2 trillion from the federal budget would have severe consequences for essential services and programs. Timeline of events. Announcement of DOGE. The initiative was publicly introduced by Trump, with Musk and Ramaswamy at the helm, setting the stage for a significant shift in government operations. Polling data release. Following the announcement, public opinion was gauged through an AP-NORC poll revealing widespread skepticism regarding the initiative and Musk's qualifications. Discussion of implementation. As the structure of DOGE is discussed, concerns arise over its regulatory power and the potential for meaningful change without legislative backing. Comparative insights. Different sources provide varying perspectives on the implications and public reception of the DOGE initiative. The AP News focuses on public sentiment and polling data, while Vox takes a critical look at the economic ramifications of Musk's and Ramaswamy's proposals. Both sources agree on the ambitious nature of the initiative but diverge in their emphasis on public opinion versus economic potential. Conclusion. The collaboration between Musk and Trump through the DOGE initiative represents a bold attempt at government reform. However, it raises significant questions about public support, the qualifications of billionaires in governance, and the potential repercussions for the economy and federal services. As this initiative unfolds, it will be essential to monitor public opinion and its potential impact on the broader political landscape. Summary of findings. 1. Public support. Approximately 30% of Americans approve of Musk's involvement in government reform, while 40% disapprove. 2. Proposed cuts. Musk and Ramaswamy advocate for substantial cuts to the federal workforce and the elimination of entire agencies. 3. Economic concerns. Experts warn that proposed budget cuts could lead to severe economic repercussions, including recession. 4. Political implications. The initiative reflects ongoing tensions regarding the role of billionaires in politics and governance. 5. Future outlook. As the DOGE initiative progresses, public sentiment and its operational effectiveness will likely evolve, reflecting broader societal concerns about the deep state and government efficiency. Conclusion. In summary, The partnership between Musk and Trump through the Department of Government Efficiency embodies a significant shift in the approach to governance and public administration in the United States. The ambitious goals set forth by this initiative will undoubtedly provoke ongoing debate regarding the balance of power between elected officials and wealthy private citizens, as well as the implications of such collaborations for the future of federal governance. The collaboration between Elon Musk and Donald Trump and their newly formed initiative, the Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, reveals several counterintuitive insights about public sentiment, government operations, and the implications of billionaire involvement in politics. 1. Public skepticism of billionaires. While many Americans recognize the inefficiencies and corruption within the federal government, a significant portion expresses discomfort with the idea of billionaires like Musk leading reform efforts. The AP-NORC poll indicates that only about 30% of Americans support Musk's involvement in government reform, suggesting a disconnect between the recognition of governmental problems and the acceptance of wealthy individuals as solutions. This skepticism extends to the belief that the influence of billionaires in political spheres is largely negative, with 60% of respondents viewing it unfavorably. 2. Ambivalence towards federal workforce cuts. Despite the calls for cutting a significant portion of the federal workforce up to 75% as proposed by Ramaswamy, there is notable ambivalence among the public regarding these drastic measures. Around 40% of respondents disapprove of eliminating a large number of federal jobs, contrasting with the perception that the government is bloated. This indicates that while there is an acknowledgement of inefficiency, many Americans still value federal employment and services, which they fear might be jeopardized by extreme cuts. 3. Misalignment of goals and public sentiment. There appears to be a divergence between the ambitious goals set by Musk and Trump and the public's priorities. The aim to eliminate entire federal agencies and significantly downsize government operations may resonate with a specific political base but lacks broader appeal. The public's preference for a return-to-office mandate for federal workers, which garners greater support than job cuts, suggests a desire for operational efficiency without sacrificing employment stability. For economic consequences of proposed cuts, the ambitious target of cutting $2 trillion from the federal budget is seen as unrealistic by experts, who warn that achieving such cuts would necessitate significant reductions in essential services and social programs. Musk's acknowledgement of potential temporary hardship contrasts sharply with the public's expectation of how government efficiency should be balanced with the welfare of citizens. The idea that a commission focused on efficiency could lead to economic turmoil is counterintuitive to the perceived goal of creating a more functional government. 5. Historical precedents and recurring themes. The DOGE initiative is not unprecedented, as past administrations, including those of Clinton and Reagan, attempted similar reforms aimed at reducing government size and waste. However, historical outcomes indicate that such efforts often fall short of their ambitious targets and can result in negative consequences, such as the departure of skilled personnel who are critical for governmental functions. This history suggests that the current initiative may face similar challenges, raising doubts about its potential effectiveness. 6. Conflicts of interest. The overlap between Musk's corporate interests and his role in the DOGE raises ethical concerns. Musk's companies, which rely heavily on government contracts, could benefit from recommendations made by the initiative. This situation highlights the counterintuitive nature of a billionaire advocating for cuts that could impact agencies overseeing his business operations, casting doubt on the program's integrity and genuine intent to promote efficiency. 7. Perception of the deep state. While Trump has framed the federal workforce as part of a deep state resisting his agenda, only about 1/3 of Americans identify this as a major problem. This suggests that the narrative of a pervasive deep state may not resonate as strongly with the public as it does with Trump and his supporters, indicating a potential misalignment in priorities between the administration and the electorate. In conclusion, the DOGE initiative led by Musk and Trump reflects a complex interplay of public opinion, economic implications, and historical context that reveals counterintuitive insights. While there is a recognized need for government reform, the proposed strategies raise significant concerns about the efficacy, public support, and potential consequences of such drastic measures. The skepticism surrounding billionaire involvement in governance further complicates the narrative of efficiency and reform, suggesting that the path forward may be fraught with challenges that diverge from the intended goals. In the report titled Musk and Trump, a combined force taking on the deep state, 10 key strategies revealed. The collaboration between Elon Musk and Donald Trump through the proposed Department of Government Efficiency DOGE underscores a significant political maneuver aimed at reforming federal government inefficiencies. While the primary elements of the initiative are highlighted, several overlooked aspects present deeper implications worth exploring. 1. Public skepticism and image of billionaires. One of the most significant but understated points is the public skepticism regarding Musk's qualifications. While 2/3 of Americans acknowledge the inefficiencies in the federal government, only about 30% support Musk's involvement in reform efforts. This skepticism is particularly relevant given the broader context of increasing discontent with the influence of billionaires in politics. The negative perception of Musk among the populace despite his wealth and status reveals a growing concern about the entrenchment of wealth in governance. The implications of this sentiment could affect future policy initiatives and the overall trust in governmental institutions, as reliance on billionaire advisors raises ethical questions about representation and accountability. 2. Deep state narrative. Trump's framing of the initiative as a battle against the deep state is significant, as it feeds into a larger narrative that depicts government bureaucracy as inherently corrupt and resistant to reform. This term has become a rallying cry for many of Trump's supporters, suggesting an entrenched bureaucratic resistance to his administration's agenda. However, this narrative often overlooks the complexities of government operations and the necessity of certain bureaucratic structures for maintaining effective governance. The simplification of these issues into a binary conflict of us versus them could lead to broad proposals that may dismantle essential services under the guise of reform. 3. Economic consequences of proposed cuts. The ambitious goal of cutting $2 trillion from the federal budget is another critical aspect that warrants attention. The report indicates that such drastic cuts could lead to temporary hardship for many Americans. Yet it glosses over the potential long-term repercussions on the economy and social safety nets. The proposed cuts could disproportionately affect low-income populations, disrupt essential services, and exacerbate existing inequalities. The narrative of fiscal responsibility should not overshadow the tangible human impacts of such policies, which could result in increased poverty and decreased access to essential services like healthcare and education. 4. Conflict of interest and regulatory power. The potential conflicts of interest stemming from Musk's involvement in the DOGE initiative are often overlooked. With Musk's companies heavily reliant on government contracts, there is a valid concern regarding how his position could influence federal funding and regulatory decisions. The report hints at this but does not fully explore the implications of such conflicts. The risk of prioritizing private interests over public good raises questions about the integrity of the reform process and the potential for cronyism within the government, undermining the very efficiency that the DOGE aims to achieve. 5. Historical context of government efficiency initiatives. The report briefly mentions past government efficiency initiatives such as those led by Al Gore and Ronald Reagan, yet it fails to delve deeply into the lessons learned from these historical precedents. Previous attempts to streamline government services often resulted in unintended consequences such as the loss of critical expertise and increased operational challenges. By failing to learn from these historical efforts, the current initiative risks repeating past mistakes, potentially leading to a less efficient and more chaotic government structure. 6. Impact on civil service. The proposal to significantly reduce the federal workforce raises alarms about the sustainability of government operations. The report notes Ramaswamy's suggestion to lay off 75% of federal employees, yet it does not fully convey the potential ramifications of such a drastic reduction in personnel. The federal workforce includes many skilled professionals who provide essential services, and cutting this workforce could lead to operational paralysis in critical areas such as public health, safety, and infrastructure. This point is crucial because it highlights the importance of a competent civil service in maintaining effective governance. 7. Legislative limitations. Another aspect that may be overlooked is the structural limitations of the DOGE initiative. As the report indicates, the proposed department lacks true regulatory power and is more of an advisory body. This raises questions about the initiative's efficacy in enacting meaningful change without legislative support. The reliance on an advisory commission to drive reforms may prove ineffective, as substantive changes to government operations typically require legislative action. This disconnect between aspiration and capability needs to be acknowledged, as it could lead to frustration among supporters and disillusionment with the reform process. 8. Influence on future political landscapes. The collaboration between Musk and Trump may have broader implications for future political landscapes. As billionaires increasingly engage in political processes, their influence could reshape the traditional power dynamics within governance. The normalization of billionaire involvement in policymaking could lead to a shift in how political campaigns are funded and how policy agendas are set, potentially sidelining average citizens' voices in favor of elite interests. This development poses a significant threat to democratic principles and could lead to increased polarization and public discontent. 9. Cultural and ideological divide. The initiative also reflects a cultural and ideological divide in American politics. The embrace of Musk as a figurehead for government reform resonates with a segment of the population that idolizes entrepreneurial success and innovation. However, this can alienate those who prioritize social equity and the role of government in safeguarding public interests. The framing of government as a problem to be solved rather than a collective institution to be improved can exacerbate existing divides and hinder constructive dialogue on necessary reforms. 10. Potential backlash and resistance. Finally, the ambitious nature of the DOGE initiative could provoke significant backlash from various stakeholders, including federal employees' advocacy groups and the general public. The suggestion to eliminate entire agencies and significantly reduce the federal workforce could mobilize resistance from those who perceive these actions as threats to their livelihoods and the essential services they provide. The potential for public protests and organized opposition to these reforms should not be underestimated, as it could significantly impact the political landscape and the feasibility of implementing such changes. In summary, while the DOGE initiative presents an ambitious plan for reforming government inefficiencies, there are numerous overlooked elements that carry substantial significance. The public's skepticism regarding billionaire involvement, potential economic repercussions, conflicts of interest, and historical lessons highlight the complexities surrounding this initiative. Understanding these nuances is essential for grasping the broader implications of Musk and Trump's collaboration and the future of governance in the United States. 1. Dismantling bureaucracy and restructuring federal agencies. The initiative led by Musk and Trump aims to significantly cut wasteful spending, eliminate regulations, and restructure federal agencies. This ambitious plan is referred to as a potential Manhattan Project for government reform. The proposed strategies include the elimination of entire federal agencies and massive layoffs within the federal workforce, which are contentious and raise questions about their feasibility and potential consequences for essential services. 2. Public perception and skepticism. Despite the recognition of corruption and inefficiency in the federal government among the public, there is significant skepticism regarding Musk's qualifications to lead such a reform initiative. Polls indicate that a large portion of Americans disapproves of billionaires influencing government reform. This public ambivalence suggests that while there is acknowledgement of problems within the federal system, the proposed solutions and the figures behind them may not resonate positively with the electorate. 3. Potential economic impact and risks. The proposed budget cuts of up to $2 trillion raise alarms about potential economic repercussions, including the risk of recession. Experts warn that such drastic cuts could lead to significant hardship for many Americans by affecting essential services and programs. Musk himself has acknowledged that the budget cuts could result in temporary hardship, highlighting the potential for severe social and economic fallout if the proposals are implemented without careful consideration of their impacts. 4. Conflict of interest and historical context. The association of Musk, a billionaire with substantial government contracts and leading the DOGE, raises concerns about conflicts of interest. Additionally, historical precedents show that attempts to reduce government size and spending, such as those during the Reagan and Clinton administrations, often faced significant challenges and did not achieve their ambitious goals. The current initiative may encounter similar obstacles as the federal workforce has not significantly expanded over the decades, complicating the identification of substantial waste to cut. 1. The New Deal and the bureaucratic reforms of Franklin D. Roosevelt. During the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt introduced the New Deal, a series of programs and reforms aimed at revitalizing the U.S. economy. This initiative involved significant changes in government bureaucracy, expanding the federal government's role in the economy and creating numerous federal agencies such as the Social Security Administration and the Works Progress Administration. Similar to the proposed DOGE initiative, Roosevelt's New Deal faced skepticism regarding its effectiveness and the extent of government intervention in the economy, particularly from conservative critics who feared it would lead to excessive bureaucratic growth and dependency on government assistance. 2. The Contract with America and the Republican Revolution. In the early 1990s, Newt Gingrich and the Republican Party proposed the Contract with America, which aimed to reduce the size of government, cut taxes, and eliminate various federal programs. This initiative led to a significant restructuring of government operations and sparked debates about the role of government in American life, echoing the sentiments of Trump and Musk regarding bureaucracy and inefficiency. Critics of the Contract with America raised concerns about the potential negative impact on social services and the economy, much like the apprehensions surrounding the DOGE initiative. 3. The National Partnership for Reinventing Government initiative. Under President Bill Clinton, Vice President Al Gore spearheaded the National Partnership for Reinventing Government in the 1990s, aimed at making the federal government more efficient and responsive. This initiative sought to eliminate waste and improve services by reducing the federal workforce and streamlining operations. Although it had some success, the program faced criticism for not adequately addressing the complexities of government functions and the potential downsides of workforce reductions. The parallels with Musk and Trump's DOGE initiative are evident in the goals of restructuring and efficiency, as well as the challenges of implementing such sweeping reforms without negative repercussions on essential services. Future outlook, predictions for the Musk-Trump alliance and the Department of Government Efficiency DOGE. As the collaboration between Elon Musk and Donald Trump unfolds through the proposed Department of Government Efficiency DOGE, several future scenarios emerge contingent on public reception, political dynamics, and the complexities of implementing significant governmental reforms. 1. Public support dynamics. The initial mixed reactions to DOGE, illustrated by only 30% public approval, suggest that support may fluctuate based on the perceived effectiveness of early initiatives. If Trump and Musk can demonstrate concrete successes, such as real budget cuts or improved efficiency, public backing could grow. Alternatively, continued skepticism or negative outcomes from proposed cuts may lead to increased public backlash, especially if essential services are impacted. 2. Legislative challenges. Despite Trump's ambition, significant reforms will require legislative backing. The feasibility of dismantling agencies or implementing extensive job cuts hinges on Congress's willingness to cooperate. If Congress remains divided, the DOGE may struggle to implement its vision. leading to frustration among supporters and potential disillusionment with both leaders. 3. Economic consequences. Predictions of economic turmoil due to proposed cuts raise concerns. Economic experts warn that significant reductions in federal spending could result in a recession, particularly if social safety nets are impacted. If economic downturns occur, public sentiment may shift drastically against the initiative and its leaders, prompting a re-evaluation of their strategies. 4. Impact on federal workforce. The proposal to reduce the federal workforce, potentially by as much as 75%, could face significant resistance from civil service advocates and unions. If these groups mobilize effectively, they could influence public opinion and legislative action against such drastic measures. The long-term viability of DOGE will depend on Musk and Trump navigating these political waters carefully. 5. Influence of technology and innovation. Musk's expertise in technology may lead to innovative approaches to government efficiency, potentially leveraging automation and artificial intelligence to streamline processes. If successfully integrated, such technologies could enhance operational efficiency, garnering further public support. However, concerns about job displacement and ethical implications could also arise, creating a complex narrative around the initiative. 6. Public relations strategy. As public opinion fluctuates, Musk and Trump will need to engage in proactive public relations strategies to communicate their goals and successes. Effective messaging that highlights positive outcomes and addresses public concerns will be crucial. If they fail to connect with the broader populace, their initiative risks becoming increasingly isolated and criticized. 7. Potential for future alliances. Should DOGE succeed in its initial goals, it may pave the way for further alliances between Musk and political figures across the spectrum. Successful collaboration could inspire other business leaders to engage in governmental reform, potentially leading to a new model of governance where business acumen is increasingly valued in political strategy. 8. Long-term structural changes. If DOGE's proposals lead to significant structural changes within the federal government, we may see a shift in how public services are perceived and delivered. This could include a move towards privatization of certain services or a reimagining of public agency roles. However, such changes will likely be contentious and require careful management to avoid public pushback. 9. Cultural impact. The partnership between Musk and Trump, both figures steeped in controversy, could foster a culture of resistance against traditional government structures. This cultural shift may embolden other populist movements and leaders, shaping future political landscapes and strategies across various nations. 10. Legacy considerations. Ultimately, the legacy of the Musk-Trump collaboration will depend on the outcomes of DOGE. If successful reforms lead to a more efficient government structure, they may be lauded as transformative leaders. Conversely, if the initiative results in economic hardship or public dissatisfaction, it may tarnish their legacies and impact their future endeavors in both business and politics. Conclusion. The future of the Musk-Trump alliance through the Department of Government Efficiency is fraught with uncertainty. Public sentiment, legislative dynamics, and economic repercussions will play pivotal roles in shaping the path forward. As both leaders navigate these complexities, their ability to adapt and respond to challenges will determine the long-term viability and impact of their initiatives on federal governance.